Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be I guess not reacting, but correcting this video about airplanes and like how dumb they are. This video, not how dumb planes are, but how dumb this video is.
Ever remember the first time you saw an airplane? Did you think...
And also, this title doesn't make any sense for this case. For these other ones back there it does, but the A320, per se, even the Neo, isn't particularly large for an airliner.
Wow, that thing's way bigger than I thought it would be.
Not really,
Well, planes are getting bigger and bigger all the time, and
No, they're actually kind of getting smaller, if I believe so correctly.
they do more than just carry people away on vacation,
Well, no duh, Sherlock.
too.
Why is he
From
showing
the
him
airplane that's used as a space rocket launch pad to the airplane so smooth they call it the Dreamliner.
That's not a 787. That's a 737. It's pretty obvious. And also, I don't believe that's why they call it Dreamliner, from how smooth it is.
Here's 15 abnormally large planes that actually exist.
The intro must
Number 15. Stratolaunch airplane.
It's just called the Stratolauncher.
We're kicking things off with an absolute monster of an airplane.
It's not wrong about that.
This crazy double fuselage design makes this the plane with the widest wingspan of all time. Have a look at this.
Goodness gracious. That's 12 engines on each side, and it's a biplane, apparently.
Image we found online of a Stratolaunch plane. This one looks
This one? There's only one of them.
huge. By the looks of it, it seems that they have really added a ton of extra stuff to this one. Doesn't
There's just one again.
that look badass? I think so.
No, it doesn't.
This huge airplane was designed by Stratolaunch Systems, a
I don't know very much about this plane, so I'm not really qualified about that.
company once owned by the late Microsoft founder Paul Allen.
I don't know about that either.
It can carry a 550,000-pound payload on those wings, which are wider than a football field, and ran its first test flight out in the Mojave Desert in late 2019. The plane is designed to carry orbital rockets into space for easier launches
At least credits the people who make these
than traditional blast-off from the
A lot of
Earth.
stone,
Since the death of Allen, however, the company has scaled back and changed ownership. Will this incredible plane ever enter full service, or will its one and only flight remain its legacy? Only
no,
time
it's
will
flown.
tell. But can you imagine heading out to space for a long weekend?
It would never carry passengers. Even the things at launch, I don't think it'll ever carry passengers.
Set aboard a rocket attached to this behemoth in a few short years.
It's not fuel efficient.
It might all become a reality.
I believe this aircraft later broke up mid-flight.
Before we go on, like this video,
no,
smash
no.
the subscribe button, and click the
No.
notification bell right now, or Slenderman will come from under your bed when you're
Thunderman. Tall, skinny guy.
sleeping.
Super scary. I would
Number
never do it.
14. Boeing 787. Not even 9 years since its introduction, the Boeing
This video was made 4 years ago, so there's that.
787 has already become an icon of
787.
aviation, also known as Dreamliner.
That's a 777X.
This is a truly
That's a
enormous
787,
passenger
I believe.
plane.
I can't tell. Say that the engines look like a 787. And even
Part
for
of
the
Boeing's strategy was to build a
787
slightly
again.
slower but much larger and smoother plane to maximize profits for airlines. The biggest Dreamliner, the
737.
787-10, can carry 330 passengers, which is a full 88.
Again, a 777. It even says it on the tail. You Nimrod, whoever got this Like, whoever made this video probably
more
AI,
than its
they did
next
wrong.
biggest sister. On top of that, it has 41% more room in its cargo hold. Think of all the
I
extra
don't know about
suitcases
that.
you could lose flying on one of these babies.
You can't lose a suitcase in the plane itself unless it goes down.
On top of all that, the plane is 25
A 777. Will this guy actually stop being an actual terminally nimroded
percent more fuel efficient than its competitors, has a whole range of systems to make the cabin quieter, including muffled air conditioners.
This guy's just stupid, isn't he? Like, extremely.
And sound-insulated fuselage, and it requires
I don't even have to say that.
30% less maintenance compared to other big jumbo jets, bigger windows,
I don't think the 787's a jumbo jet.
and more legroom for passengers. The whole plane is made from more than 2 million parts, but this is still a
I don't know the exact number.
huge reduction from the 3 million pieces it took to put together the older 767. That's some puzzle. Its range is also enormous, and Qantas Airlines have begun a 19-hour,
Just call it Qantas.
11,000-mile non-stop flight from Sydney, Australia to London, England for the
I don't know airplane routes very well. I only know like the major ones like London Heathrow to JFK or
first time, a distance only a Dreamliner could handle. What a
777 again. I'm gonna have to stop pointing that out because it's so dumb.
plane! Number 13. Airbus A350. If you thought Boeing's biggest competitor were just sitting back and gawping at the amazing Dreamliner, you were wrong.
No.
Airbus have been hard at work creating a
Why would
passenger airplane that's just as impressive, even if they didn't bother to give it a cool name.
Yeah, they did.
Airbus
Airbus
claimed the A350 is even quieter and more efficient than the Dreamliner, and it has a longer
I don't know
range,
about
being
that. Then why
capable
didn't
of as
they do
much
video
as
itself?
8,000 nautical miles. Both planes are
I don't
monsters in
know
size,
the
but the
exact ones. They're not that
A350
large.
just tips the scales ahead of the Dreamliner in weight, length,
I don't know about that really either.
and seat numbers. But where the Airbus really stands out is its cabin, filled with soothing mood lighting, and, get this, the walls aren't curved. That's right, it's just like being inside a building on good old terra firma, with walls that go straight up and across, reducing the feeling of claustrophobia. But here's something that might make you feel a little less at ease when you see it through the extra wide cabin window. The wings flap, like a bird. Okay, not
It's called wing flex. That's how planes work.
exactly like a bird, but the wings are designed to gently flap up and down,
Yeah, all planes are designed like that.
depending on various conditions, to improve flight smoothness and make those engines, which are as powerful as 1,000 F1 cars, work as efficiently as possible. The Airbus costs a cool 80 million more than its rival. Which one will we see more of in the skies, do you think? Number 12. Boeing 777.
Oh, heck no. Just call it the 777.
The Boeing 777, or 777 as it's usually known, is a pretty enormous
Yeah, I believe
aircraft.
that.
In fact, its engines are so big, you could pass the fuselage of a Boeing 737
I believe that's only on the 777X.
through one of them.
Huge ship.
The 777 is one of the most popular
777X.
wide-body passenger aircraft of all time, and chances are that if you've flown from the US to Europe or Asia in
Just
the last
call
10
it-
years, it was on
just
board one of
show,
these.
like, are you
Boeing
talking
launched
about
this
the
giant
777
airplane
family?
all the way
Or the
back in
777X? That's what you're
1994,
showing.
and since then, it has clocked
I
up
don't know.
over
There
35
might be more
million
exactly
flight
what it is.
hours, which works out at almost 2 billion miles, or 13 trips to Saturn and back. The
Why would
777
he
was
say that?
also the first computer-designed aircraft by Boeing, as well as the first fly-by-wire. But in spite of the computerized controls, Boeing retained the old-style levers for pilots, who were used to mechanical airplanes. The best-selling airliner of all time has also been incredibly safe, with only 7 hull
Yeah.
losses ever. However,
I believe there's 22 incidents in total.
2 incidents in 2014, both from Malaysia Airlines, resulted in losses of over 500 people across
He's not wrong about that. He's referencing Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 and MH370.
Both crashes, one mysteriously into the Indian Ocean, while another was taken down by an anti-aircraft missile in Ukraine, in what was a bad
He just doesn't go into detail about that. You can't mention MH17 without going into somewhat detail.
year for the 777.
It was the worst year for any airline ever.
Still, the 777 will go down in
Why do you call it that?
history as an aviation titan that has served the entire world thousands and thousands of times over. Number 11. Lockheed C5 Galaxy.
I'm not qualified for the C5 Galaxy, so I'm just gonna skip to this. Oh no, not the A225 either. Or the 124. Nor the Super Guppy, besides the fact it's like B-52, sure.
B-52 Stratofortress. The B-52 Stratofortress is one of the most famous airplanes of all time, and an icon of the U.S. Air Force, which first came into service in 1955. The U.S. Air Force has announced its intention of keeping B-52s in military operation until at
They've been saying that for the last 10 billion years, it feels like.
least the 2040s, by which time some of the frame of these giant bombers will be almost 90 years old.
There's planes still flying that are over 100 years old. It's not that big of a deal.
In fact, in 2010, Lieutenant Daniel Welch became the third generation in his family to fly aboard B-52 airplanes. It's
I cannot confirm that.
also the only 8-engined jet airplane currently in active service, and has
I believe there is maybe some others, but I don't know exactly.
a range of 8,800 miles without refueling,
I don't know the range.
and can carry a hefty 70,000-pound payload. Back in the 1960s, a fleet of nuclear weapon-armed B-52s were kept air.
Why is the Airbus Beluga there? Why did you not break that up? Oh my lord.
Decided to name its transport plane after a huge white whale that has a monstrous Boeing C-17 Globemaster III. Now here's another huge military transport plane built by Boeing, the C-17 Globemaster III. This plane is designed for airlift operations, deployment of paratroopers, and medical transport, meaning it's a useful all-arounder in military combat zones. It's also a serious powerlifter,
have you noticed how the credit for the
having broken an amazing 22 records for oversized payloads since its first flight back in 1993. And since then, it's also become something of a movie star, showing up in movies like 300, first flew back in the early 1990s, and remained a strong competitor in the wide-body passenger A333-300.
What is that pronunciation of that? I just wanted to see. It's not that large of a... Like, I mean, it's large, but yeah. And this is a blimp. So let's just see the others, okay? I need more context.
A little over 120 years
Oh, heck no, I cannot do this guy's voice.